Hey guys, what is going on? This is your girl Mimi Wilson, and you are now entering into BU Podcast. I am super excited for my special guest on today. When I say this is Juneteenth, y'all, so let me first say that. Happy Juneteenth. This is the day of freedom, y'all. So we are freedom to do what we want, how we want to do it on BU Podcast. That is what we designed it for. That is what we set it for. That you can be creatively, uniquely designed by God. Say what you want. Feel free. This is a no judgment zone. This is why we set up BU. Too many times people have been walking in the shadow of silence and secrets. This is where God is allowing you to use your superpower. What is your superpower? Your superpower is your voice. I want to just give you a snippet on this gentleman, this young man that I met last year. Last year sometime. And we had seen each other in different events and everything. And I think it was the BICA. It was the BICA that I went to. And Micheline was hosting it over in the Tampa area. And then I went to the summit on last year. And then we went to the BICA in Atlanta. And he was like, Mimi, when you gonna join the team? When you coming in? And I kind of laughed or whatever. He said, you doing your thing. And I had been watching him too and watching his work and looking and seeing how he does things. And I was like, you can only go so far, but you need that extra oomph to take you from ordinary to extraordinary. So then I networked with him. We got on the phone, we talked, and I joined the Brand Cocky family. So I would like to introduce my branding coach, Chris Bond of Brand Cocky. Come on in the room, Chris. Come on in the room.
The soundtrack is garbage. Let's try again. Do it again.
Okay, the drum line. He said, do it again. That's what we do here on BU. We have fun. It's not about being stiff-necked. So let me say this again. Let me introduce none other than my branding coach, Chris Bond from Brand Cocky. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, Mimi, I'm just so excited to be here. We are working through this thing, guys. All right, so we doing the back office thing. We doing the controls in the back, and we the guests. Okay,
but this is about making the brand, right?
And this is what goes into it. And what that scripture say? Don't despise your small beginnings, because one day we ain't gonna have to do all these jobs.
No, because we're gonna have backup people.
But that's right. But at least we know what's going on.
But until then, we appreciate God giving us the ability and capability of doing this.
Come on.
So we thank God, because what the enemy meant for bad and we call flaws, God said he's perfecting it, because what he's doing is showing people that you are real. This ain't script. This ain't entertainment. No. It's just about us coming in and sharing some things that God gave us, because when God blesses you with a calling, an anointing, and a gift, he doesn't bless you to just sit on it. He blesses you to be a blessing to other people. So I want to say, Chris Bond, that's what you have truly been to me ever since I met you, because again, you were watching what I was doing crafty on social media, and then I was turning around and I was watching you, and then when our paths crossed, it was like boom, an explosion.
Yeah.
Then turn around, we both Leos, so we both leaders.
What I like is this. I like to see activity. That's one of the things that I'm attracted to. I like movement. Somebody chat. I like movement. Somebody put in there movement. Chat in the bot movement. Type it in the chat.
Hey, Cassie.
Movement creates energy. And so I kept seeing, Mimi Wilson just pow, 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 pow. And she's doing this on her own, and she's coming up with this creative content. And the other thing that was so cool was that it was every day and it was something. So she was consistent with it as well. So I said, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to get this kind of exposure, if you want to try to get your name out there, you got to be doing this. So I was like, yo, what how can I be down? You know what I mean? I want to help. I want to help. I see what you got going on. And then, you know, if you have me to give you some other ideas or even help with some of your graphics, take some of that off of you so you can stay true to just coming up with content and let me do all the branding and the flyer stuff, because she was doing all of that. Right. So I want, you know, I'm here to help. We here to, you know, to give people assistance and to serve. That's the key word, be a service. Zig Ziglar said, if you want to get what you want, help somebody first get what they want. And I stay true to that principle. Yeah.
And that's what it is. So I wanted people to really know, who is the man behind Brand Cocky? Who is the man behind Brand Cocky, and how did Brand Cocky get started? How did Chris Bond get started?
Let's see. You said this was an hour show, right?
Listen, what we can do is, since it's BU, we could break it up in two. Because it's an hour show, but we can break it up in two. Hey, Jada. Hey, how y'all doing, Brand Cocky family? Hey, Brandy. We could break it up in two. But let's give them as much as we can. And then if they want a closer walk and a closer talk with you, and they want that personal connection, then we're going to give them that information as well. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Somebody turned around and blessed me to be in his presence. Now I'm blessing y'all to be in his presence.
Amen. Amen. Well, let's start off like this. You know, I was in a real estate game. I was a real estate and mortgage broker. I was doing both things because no one wanted to work with my loans, because I worked with self-employed hair artists.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So majority of my clients came from the beauty industry. So I put a lot of stylists in homes, big homes.
Wow.
They could show the money. So I had to do the no doc type loans, and so to get my loans to the table, I had to learn how to do loans as well. So I started doing that, and it did real good. I stayed in that business for about 10 years, became a broker. So I was up and coming, and then the bottom fell out in 2008. All of those bad paper loans that I did, people foreclosed on them, which caused the market. I wasn't the only one doing it. It was a bunch of folks doing it. Well, you know, it caused the market to crash and have to reset itself. And so I was out of a clientele. And so instead of just sitting around the house and waiting for the market to come back, I said, I need to do something until, you know, this thing can come back around. And so one of the last people that I put into a home, he was a distributor, and he worked for Straight Request and BB and, you know, Essations, which is now Naked, and what's the other one in the purple box, kind of in this color? What's it?
Vital. Oh, Vital. Okay.
Yeah. So he had a couple of those lines in the back of his van, and he said, Chris, you know, I could use some help with, you know, making my rounds, because I'm trying to expand and move forward, and you could just take Nashville and I can go to Kentucky. And I was like, cool, just teach me the business. And as long as I got the right to, you know, if somebody called and say, hey, I want you to show me this house, I could do that. He's like, sure, you can do that. It's just on you. So I did that. And it was cool, you know. I get bored real easy. So that route thing kind of got boring. So I would switch it up. I would change it up. You know, flip up on you, and you know, well, you supposed to be here on Wednesday. No, I'm here today, Tuesday. And so it didn't kind of work out for my clients, because y'all are used to routines, right? So I kind of got in trouble for that. But when you're a creative person, man, you can't give somebody.
It's hard.
You can't give somebody that, man. Say go to A, B, C, D every time. I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah. We get bored.
I figured out something else to do in this business, which took my attention, and that was, hey, you guys don't have any business cards. Hey, how do you guys brand yourselves? How do you guys stay, getting more business?
Right.
And at that time, 2008, come on, go back with me. 2008, Facebook just coming out.
Right.
It ain't really like Facebook we know it as today. It's like just coming out like, okay, what is this thing called? And for a stylist to say, hey, I'm gonna get on Facebook and tell all my business, I don't see that as, keeping the business.
Right.
I see that as you trying to get in my business. You ain't gonna get in my business, bro. So I said, well, if you guys don't take up this technology, and another thing was real big was websites.
Yes.
I can get you guys to get websites in 2008. They was running $1,500 to $2,000. That's a big ticket for someone who don't understand how this is going to help keep me in the business. When I got May and them wearing my hairstyles every Sunday to go to church, and they telling them, oh, so did my hair, and then I get new clients that way. Little did they know that right there was going to be a dinosaur, right?
Right.
So I set my mission on trying to get you guys to do more branding, things like that, and more marketing, things like that. So I, set up the same thing that the guy did for me to get me started in real estate. I just used that same formula. And what he did was he told me to go get a photo shoot. Boom, spent $1,000 for a photo shoot. And then after we got the photo shoot, the pictures, he built my website, $1,500 for the website. And then after the website, I put my pictures in some ads in some magazines, because I'm trying to sell houses. I'm trying to sell $500,000 houses. I'm trying to sell $500,000, $2 million houses. So I got to look the part.
So it's about investing in yourself, really. It's really about believing in you and investing in yourself. And I think that's where a lot of people have the hiccup, because they want the exposure, but they don't want to do what it takes to get the exposure.
Right.
And I think with you, but let's piggyback off of something you're saying. You're not just a branding coach for the beauty industry. You're a branding coach for all industries.
Once you figure this thing out for your industry, branding, the component is the same all the way around.
Right.
Yeah. And so what we're all trying to do is just garner attention. We're saying, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. And so if I look over there, what you got?
That's it.
What you got that's going to keep me looking at you? Because you deserve a chance. Anybody can get a quick look. You can say, hey, and somebody will look. But once they give you that look, what do you have to hold?
What do you have? Right. And I think that's what I love about when we did our personal brand cocky call. You have people that come in and you do that one-on-one call so that you can turn around and create that brand, which is uniquely designed for that individual. So nobody is the same. So it's like a fingerprint. That's one thing I say, that we are fingerprints, and that's how you treat it, as if we are fingerprints. And so Misha is not going to look like Jada, and Jada is not going to look like Micheline, and Micheline ain't going to look like Brandy. So everybody has their own individuality.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the things that I learned, because I was like, okay, he wants us to do this call, and then we got to do a video, which I ain't have a problem with videos, but it was like you wanted us to see the growth. And that's what I love, because the way I do videos now compared to when I first started doing video, you was like, tap, Misha. Okay, so what is it? So you doing a trivia. You making me think like, okay, so I just answered the question. What else he want me to do? Like, what do you mean? And then we just went on a whole different level. Let's talk on this different level of brand cocky.
Okay.
It's us stepping out of it and stepping out of the way and really focusing on what is the core of our brand, which is God.
Well, let's talk about levels, because I mean, we hear that all the time, right? We
right.
always hear, if you want to go to the next level, you need to come to this class. If you want to take your business to the next level, everybody wants to get to the next level instead of dealing with the level they own right now.
Right.
And that's how you start going to the next level, is understanding, where am I right now?
Right.
And that's what the brand discovery call is all about, Mimi. We get into a phone call for about an hour, and you tell me about all your different traumas and challenges that you had when you were a little girl, or when you were 10 years or whatever. Why do you need to know all this information, Chris? Because I'm trying to figure out what level you at mindset wise.
Right.
And what if we go to this next level, is there a hindrance or is there a trigger there that's going to keep you from going to it?
Right.
Because we didn't deal with it in the back.
Right.
We didn't deal with it. We didn't deal with it. So that those things, as far as, talking about being transparent, when we talk about this brand discovery call, you got to be honest with yourself. This is about personal branding. And this is not about building a brick and mortar or a name on a window or a sign.
Right.
I'm talking about building who you are.
Right.
And understanding that it's personal.
Right.
And it's easy to talk about something else when the light ain't on you. But when we talk about you, then we got it's uncomfortable.
Very much. Very much.
Let me ask this question right now. How many people have an issue with just looking at yourself in the mirror and smiling?
Wow.
Or telling yourself, hey, good morning, or I love you. How many people got an issue with that? You can be truthful. This is a safe place.
Right. I think I used to have that issue. I really did. Even with taking pictures, when you were like, you see how long it took me to take pictures. It was hard to find a photographer, but just found one, got my pictures, some of them today. But I think that was for me personally, and we'll see who's gonna say what, but that was the biggest thing for me, because as that young girl, I was told you would have been almost perfect if your teeth was straight. And so I had one of my clients years ago, before I got my teeth done, and I would always do this.
Mm-hmm.
I will always laugh or whatever. And I find myself doing it now, even though the teeth are straight, I still, because it's a habit, because a mental thing, right? And she sat up in a shampoo bowl and she said, let me ask you a question. I don't know. She said this. She said, I don't know who told you you didn't have a beautiful smile, but please stop covering up your smile. Wow. That is the most beautiful thing about you. Yeah. And that was the first time that I had ever heard that, because I was so ashamed of my teeth. She said, beauty is not because your teeth is not straight. Mm-hmm. She said, your beauty, your smile lightens up a room. Please stop doing this.
Yes.
Stop doing that. And that was something that really, really, really hit home for me, and it helped me. And I had to mentally catch up to the compliment, And so even with now, I'm more confident than I've ever been. But I think one of the biggest things for me with Brand Cocky is because of our prayer, where we come together every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. That is big for me, because a family that prays together stays together. And you could be so heavy, weighted down, burdened down, but when you get on that call, it's like God connects all of us. And it's like you breaking down, crying, giving your testimony and everything. So to me, just with this group as a whole, that is the biggest thing that really keeps me connected, because those Wednesday morning calls, even if you're running late on the call, you're on time for the message. God always has a message for us to let us know that even though it's Mimi, it's BU Podcast, it's Brand Cocky, it's Chris Bond, it's Jada Whitfield, it's Miss Shalene, it's all about him at the end of the day. That's who we got to really seek before we can do any outside things or even go to that next level.
You know, the Brand Cocky Millionaires Club was built because when I got these clients initially, Mimi, I didn't have anywhere for them to go. And I also wanted to keep my hands on them so I could know what I needed to do for them next. I just took off one event. It was Mentorship Academy, Denise Michelle. And she gave me a class and she said, hey, I want you to teach on what you're doing for me because other people want your services. I'm getting phone calls. People want to know who's doing my stuff. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I had no understanding of how I was going to do it. I just did it. And after Mentorship Academy, boom, I got like 20 clients after that event. And I said, where am I going to put all these people? So I created a Facebook group and I put them all in there so I could just make sure I don't lose anybody.
Right.
But while they were staying there until I got to their graphics, I said, let me just educate you and let me give you some knowledge so that when you do get your products from me, you'll know how to use them.
Right.
And you won't be like, okay, you got a logo, I got a banner, now what do I do with this stuff? So I started just feeding that group information and then we started being a support to one another. And then God said, you know what? Why don't you add a prayer element to it as well? And I said, no, why don't you add a prayer thing to it? I don't like prayer calls.
Oh my God.
I don't like prayer calls, man. You know I don't like prayer calls. I don't do prayer calls, bro. I don't do them. And so I had to be obedient to that. And so he gave me a prayer call and he made it accustomed to something that would hold my attention. So first of all, I don't like just getting on there and a bunch of people just rattling off prayers. I don't like nothing that ain't moving and ain't helping nobody.
Right.
If a prayer call is supposed to be a group, then let the group pray together.
Right.
That's what I imagine in my head. I imagine us all standing there holding hands. And if there's something God gives you, it's going to be in the spirit of it. If it's not, we'll shut you down. But for the most part, that thing is right where it needs to be.
It'd be on fire.
You've been there.
It's on fire.
Yeah. And so the whole thing about Brand Cocky, and I kind of jumped. I want to get back to it though, but let me stay with the war room situation, because it is a very key element to this whole situation, this whole personal branding. It's about being in a relationship with the Creator.
Right.
With God, you understand who you are, whose you are, and what you are.
Right.
That's the personal brand. That's your uniqueness, is when you understand that. When you don't have to follow the trend and everybody else is calling themselves cut creator and master color jam sir, and they're all coming up with all these little hip hop, wave names. And I'm just saying, why ain't your name, your first and last name, or your first and middle name? Why is that enough? Why isn't that enough?
Right. Because of the titles. People, hey, Mona says she loves the prayer call. Listen, because people get so wrapped up, I think, now with titles. Even me. I remember when you said, hey, Tim, I remember when you said to me, Mimi, and I was like, looking like, what? You said, take coach off of your name. Can I be honest, y'all? We said this be you. We gonna be. I said this trigger done lost this month. He said, I don't want you to respond right now. I want you to go pray about it, right? And it was so funny afterwards that God revealed what was going on, because he said it puts you in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and then God began to work on me, because I had to pray about that thing. I said, you know what? Now, God, he trying to take too much control. Like, I done went and got my certification, 3 different ones, and he telling me I can't use. You said, no, I ain't telling you can't use it for whatever, like you got to go to a speaking engagement, whatever, but take that, because it puts you in a box, because you are more than a life coach, right? And then God said, it ain't about the titles, it's about the work, it's about the duty. Because as long as I call you daughter, as long as I call you son, it doesn't matter about life coach Mimi Wilson, because somebody may not need a life coach at that moment.
Right.
You know? Right. So I had to I had to say, because I said this trigger, y'all know what I mean to. I said, he done lost his mind. Who he think he is? But I'm so grateful because you were obedient. A lot of people don't want to offend people. And when they don't want to offend people, they walk in disobedience for what, God done told them. And I know you said we're jumping, but I felt like we got to get here first, because God is the first foundation and the step to who we are and where we're going. And that's who we should have started off with. So I was like, okay, God, I hear you. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have him in place and in position, nothing is going to last.
Yes, absolutely. And it's really important, because here's the thing, me. There's more than enough.
Yes.
Let's start here. We've got 12 tribes. And we're talking about the children of Israel.
Right.
And every tribe had its own lane. There were the Levites. And the Levites was what? That's the priests.
Come on.
These are the priests. Guess what? They can't be Levites and the wood people.
Right.
The craftsmen. They can't be Levites and the brick masons. They can't be Levites and be the harvest people, the pickers, and everybody got their own thing. What we need is Levites to be able to be a blessing over us, to be the covering for us, to make sure that we look good in God's sight at this point in time. This is what the Levites did. So the other 11 tribes came and they gave 1/10, of their whatever they did. They brought that to the Levites so they could have something to eat, have some nice furniture in the house, have some oil to burn the candles, have some meat to throw on the grill. That's what they did. That's where the 10th, that's where all of this tithing comes from and the offerings come from, so that we could keep the Levites in their place. What are you saying, Chris? I'm saying that what you have inside of you and what you've been called to, you are enough for that. And there is ministry, or there is an abundance of supply for you to live off of that.
Right.
Let me slow down, because I know I lost some folks.
No, go ahead.
Oh, we back?
Okay. Play catch up.
Okay. Catch up. I want you to catch up. So you don't have to get into this rat race that I got to do this now because that's where the money is. Oh, I got to go over here. This is where the money is. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get over here. This is where the money is. No, and this is something God teaching me. I've been trying to do something other than brand, cock, and BM. I've been trying to do something other than this because I was used to a certain type of check. But God is saying, will you trust me?
Yeah.
I'm saying, yes, Lord, I'll trust you. And then I'll sneak over and go do something else. And then he'll bring me back. And I thought you said you was going to trust me.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
You got me. I'm going to trust you this time.
Stay in your lane. And then you go over there to the... And it's like that with all of us. I found that I was like a dog chasing my tail, Chris.
Yes.
Never completing anything. Just running around. And I was tiring myself out until I mentally made the decision to say, you know what, God, truly, I trust you. At the summit, when I walked into the church service and I was late for the service, but I was on time for the message. And as the preacher was preaching, I could hear God speaking in my ear and said, lift up your hands, open up your mouth, and say yes. Say yes. Is it always easy? No, it's not easy. But the belief and the faith that we have in God, it opens up doors. The testimonies that we have on a prayer call.
Come on.
Jada just gave a testimony.
Come on.
Mona just gave for the testimonies that we have. It's like it taps into your belief to say, it gives you hope to let you know if God did it for them, he'll do it for you. If God fed the multitude off the little boy lunch, what do you do for us, Chris? He said, I change not. He said, I'm that same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. I don't change. Y'all the ones that change. And until God say move and do something else, Chris, you ain't going to be able to move.
I can't move.
Us. We got to grab hold to belief and the faith system of Christ that God will open up the doors. You are truly a blessing because what you charge us, it's a penny compared to, I know. What you charge, can I get into it? Can we be real? We're going to be real on BU. What you charge us. But let me ask you this question, Chris. Have you ever gone lacking? God always find a way. Come on.
No. I gotta tell you this. There's some things that I want and I want to do, and guess what? I'm going to be able to get those things.
Yes.
I don't know how, but I know that I'm going to be able to get those things because God is going to make a way. I don't know how he does it, and I don't really care. All I'm charged to do is just to be obedient.
That's it.
And to put the expectation on them.
Come
to
on.
make sure I'm saying the right thing so that it can get to me faster. Daniel was like, yo, I need some prayers answered here. What's going on? I know I put that prayer in about 2. Yeah. And so the angel said, bro, we would have been here a lot sooner, but we had to fight some things and get through some stuff. But we was coming. So why would I want to hinder if they already, the answer is trying to get to me? Why am I speaking against it, giving it more of resistance to fight through? I should be helping the answer get in. So what are you saying, Chris? You got to keep your mouth shut. Oh, there's a story. Come on, Holy Ghost, give it to me as he get it. There's a story, and I think this is John the Baptist's daddy. It's one of them prophets' daddies. But check this out. His dad was told by an angel, you're gonna have a son. And somebody find this and make sure I'm right, because I just these stories just pop up, so I've heard it before. And so the angel muted his mouth to keep him from saying anything negative, shut him down for 9 months.
Jesus daddy. Well, his we call it stepdaddy. It was Jesus stepdaddy, because he was like, wait a minute now. Wait, I ain't touch her. Wait, hold up. You said she gonna be what?
I don't think it's Jesus daddy.
Joseph, when he shut his mouth and when they went and said about Mary being pregnant, remember? Mary being pregnant.
I think it might be his cousin, but I'm gonna find it. I know it ain't him, but
somebody tap into that. Come on, get us right.
This dude was a priest. And the angel had to shut him down until that baby got here.
Somebody tap into that, because we don't want to be wrong.
Was muted. Who was the priest? The priest who was muted by angel. And this, I think this might have been John the Baptist's daddy or somebody. Zachariah.
But one thing we know, that there's a time and season for everything. And when God tell you to shut up, yeah, sometimes he say, shh, we don't listen to shh. He say, hush, shut up, and don't say nothing, and watch the movement and the hand of God in our lives. It's not for us to tell everything either.
Exactly.
Sometimes we talk too much.
That's where I was going with it. I was going basically, just keep your mouth shut, because you don't know. You could be hindering your own blessings with your I don't knows or maybes, and so there's a story where Jesus said, I can't do like I did over there in the other neighborhood, because this crew over here, they don't have no belief.
Right.
All right, y'all getting the Bible on Hood version. They got the NIV version. This is Chris Hood version.
He said, make it plain, Chris. That's what he said. He said, make it plain. He used parables.
So Jesus
used the parables.
I can't do miracles like I want to because of y'all's unbelief.
Right.
And so we've learned this in our book club that we're doing this month, which is the 4 agreements. And the first chapter talks about being impeccable with your words. And when you're being impeccable with your words, that means that you're creating heaven on earth with your words.
Right.
And here's a song that says, let the weak say, I am what?
Come on, sing it.
And let the poor say, I am rich.
Yes,
because of what the Lord has done.
Come on.
He's telling the poor to say that they're rich, even though they're in this situation right now.
Speak it.
You need to speak where you want to be.
That's it. Not where you're at. Not where you're at.
You see, it's real easy to get off of Brandon and start preaching.
But guess what? Guess what? You ain't got off of it though, Chris. Seriously.
Okay.
Think about it. We talk about this all the time. Remember, me and you had a conversation, and we said this. We said people don't even understand the real base of branding. See, a lot of people, ego and pride get in it. It's I, my. They want people to see them. They want people to glorify them. I just made a status. Make sure you do whatever you do to glorify God, not to glorify your ego. Not to glorify your. So we're not taking it off of that. You got to get that first, so that when God do elevate you and he do take you to that next level, you don't begin to think of yourself more highly than you ought to, because it ain't about you.
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you. That's perfect. It
ain't about us. It's about him.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And so here's the reason why I say the personal branding right now is very effective. With AI coming into play.
Yes.
And so anybody can get on AI and type up something, and you look good. You sound great. And you sound intelligent now, and all your grammar is correct, and ain't no more misspelled words. Everybody's putting up perfect ad descriptions now. But what is going to make this individual different?
Right.
It's got to be these kind of interactions where you are not afraid to get on the camera and have a conversation with Mimi and talk about what your core values are. What does life mean to you? What do you believe? And what are you trying to do to change someone's view on life and add value to them? So my thing is about personal branding. And the reason I picked personal branding, not because I wanted to check, but Slick, I'm turning folks into mini evangelists.
Come on.
What you mean? Because when they talk about their personal brand, they got to talk about their testimony.
That's it.
The word tells me that we overcome the evil one by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. For you to be unique, you got to tell where you didn't got cut and show show some wounds. And you got to be transparent and understand that this wound ain't for me. This wound was for you.
Come on. True.
These wounds ain't for Jesus. This wasn't for me. I know who I am. I know where I was sitting before I came down here with y'all hard-headed folks. These wounds is for you. And these stripes, they for you. I did this for you guys. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. We have to take our stripes and our wounds for someone else. And that's what I believe wholeheartedly. And this is what's going to create this unique section that's carved out for you. And it's going to give you an emotional connection to where people are going to say, what else do you have to say? You got my attention now.
That's it. That's it. You just stated facts. He said Proverbs 17:17. He said, a friend loves always. Chris, what's up? I love you, bruh. He said, but a brother/sister is born for your adversity. We are born not just because we go through trials for us. We go through trials for each other.
Yes.
And that's what that brand is. And so when you said that, and you said, tap into the inner child, tap into that inner person, because in order for you to go further and know where you're going, you really got to tap into where you came from. And it ain't always peaches and cream. It ain't always he, ha, ha, ha. It's tears.
Yeah.
It's tears. You got to dig deep, because you asked the question to me. What happened when you was 11? I was like, what? What? Now you getting a little nosy. What? I ain't get on this call to do this, Chris. And then all of a sudden,
I felt all that. This is why I lean on that spirit. I like, oh Lord, please don't let me. Oh, what happened when you let me?
Chris, all of a sudden, you go clearing your throat. Oh, you said, now why this man just asked me about this? I'm like, Lord, have mercy, Jesus.
He brought it to me. He brings it to me every call that we go into this kind of situation where that's why I take them at the end of the day too, so that I can be focused and I listen and I go on the journey. And my mind is very creative. But then the Holy Spirit will pull me back and say, hey, ask her about this right here. And at that point, I'm like, is this me or is this really you? If this don't work, you're going to make me look like a... And then I say, Mimi, what happened at 11? It helps me build my trust when you say, you know, at 11, that's when
I was like, wait a minute. I got silent for a minute and had to catch. A little lump got in my throat. I said, wait a minute, what he just said? And then guess what? Guess what God is doing? And this is what God is showing me. He does that so that we know it is him.
Yes, basically. Yeah.
You didn't know me.
No.
You didn't know me. We didn't grow up together. Our paths never crossed. You didn't know anything about me. So when you asked that question, I'm like, whoa, it made my antennas to go up to say, you know what, God? Okay, God. It's safe for me to be able to say this because you brought it to him for me to bring it out. Yeah. It's time to let it go. Yeah. And that's what God said. It's time for you to go ahead and write that book. Hey, little girl, it's time to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
It's time to do grown-up things and mature things in Christ. So I commend you for even being obedient, because everybody isn't, because they don't want to hurt people's feelings or they don't want to step on toes. Step on my toes. Jump on them if you have to to get me where I need to be.
Yeah. And so that's why I move in that way, and that's why I can't do this without him. And Thanks. This is why I trust him to bring what I need. Like when Elisha just set the whole place on fire and just made a fool out of all them prophets, made a fool out of them, and said, if my God, the God that answered by fire, let him be God. Deal? Mm-hmm. Deal? Everybody deal with that? Cool. And our God won, of course, but that Jezebel was real hot about that because you didn't embarrass us. You didn't embarrass us. So I need your head on a platter. And with that same power that just called down fire from heaven, this dude got up and got some ground. He ran for his life. Now, ask yourself, how is it that we can have a victorious moment like that and trust God for that, but then we get this little small threat, and then we take off? That's just the way things are, right? Isn't it? That's just human nature, right? It is.
But we got to step out of us. Every time we do stuff, yes. Chris, I look at you and I think about Brand Cocky. And I went back to look at where Brand Cocky was before I signed up. Because I'm like, he's just signing up with this dude. I don't know him like that. But I seen the growth. Mm-hmm. And I know that God had to give the increase. And then when I went to the summit and I met these ladies and they, hey, Mimi, I'm your Facebook friend. And it's like things that was removed out of my life that I held dear to me. God said, I'm getting ready to bless you with some sisters that's closer than bloodline. Yes. Because it is the DNA that you don't have to test. Right?
Right.
And so he blessed me with a big brother.
Yeah.
Well, I'm older than you, right? Yeah, I'm older than you.
No, you ain't older than me.
Yeah, I am.
How old are you?
I'm 50, but I'll be 51 August 4th. I'm older than you. But anyway. But the connection though,
you got me a couple of days.
Older, but I'm still older than you, Chris.
Okay, all right.
But I just want to say that the journey that you taking with Brand Cocky and the elevation and the things that you challenge us with, because it's a challenge sometimes, because it makes you address things that you want to keep in the closet. It makes you push even harder. And yeah, you get under our skin a little bit sometimes.
Oh, I know. Hey, they don't call me Brand Daddy for nothing. Brand Daddy be getting them legs.
See, I'm a choke him out. But at the end of the day, it all works together for the good of those that love the Lord. It really, truly do. Let me ask you this, Chris. Where do you see Brand Cocky in the next, I won't even say 5 years, next year? Where do you see Brand Cocky?
Lord God, it's really, it's whatever he wants to do with it. But I'll tell you what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to continue to build his kingdom through Brand Cocky. I'm going to continue to put this message out that if you need to do something different, if you've been doing the same old, and it's just not working for you,
right?
And then there's also that personal development. That, see, a lot of times things not going right is because they ain't right within us.
Right.
So our energy is off. And so there has to be a time when you come to yourself.
Come on.
And you say, you know what? I need to go home. I need to go to daddy. Forget this. I know I asked for my portion. I know I didn't blew it out here on the streets. I knew I was making it rain. I shouldn't have did it.
Come on.
But my daddy, just me being just a regular servant, I could just wash cars. That's what I do. I wash cars and get the rims. I cut grass. I just know I can get at least a good home meal if I go back home to my daddy house.
Right.
Now, your daddy, seeing you are far off.
Come on.
He already know you coming. And guess what? We ain't finna hit you with, I told you that was going to happen.
Welcome you.
I told you.
Welcome you back.
No, come on. Let me get this ring for you. Got this new Gucci shirt. Gonna have this party for you.
Oh, God.
You was lost, bro. I didn't know what was going on.
That's it.
You my son. You my folks.
Right.
And so God wants us to get back right. He gave his only begotten son because he loved the world that much.
That's it.
And whosoever believeth will not perish, because I don't want nobody to perish, but have eternal life, which means hang out with me for the rest of your life. That's what I want for you.
Right.
This right here is just back office. It's backstage stuff. It's amazing how we get so stuck to this.
That's it.
And we get so jacked up because they done went on and been with the Lord. I know. Please forgive me. I'm sensitive. We lose loved ones, or loved ones get, taken from us or whatever. But to be absent from this earth is to be present with the Father. Now, are you telling me you so selfish you want them to be with you instead of with the Father? Me.
But it's even to the point of, you know what? I think the emotion part of the industry, business, period. Let's just say business. People get so caught up in everything but what they really need to be caught up in. Seriously. Just like you said, we're going to lose people. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose family members. And I ain't just talking about them going in the grave. I'm talking about there is a season, a time and season for everything. You're going to lose those people. People ain't going to always like your stuff. I had a message given to me when we was in New Orleans at the Bonner Brothers, Chris. And it was for a particular person. And I woke up and I said, okay, God. God said, tell them that they are beyond amazing. They are blessed, right? And I said, okay, God. He said, no. I want you to let them know when the accolades stop, the applause stop, the pat on the back stop, the amazing stop, they are still blessed. I said all of that to say this. In this business that we're in, or you're building a business, or you want to start a business, or you already in a business, however, you got a logo or whatever it is that you're doing, right? If you do not get that per se likes or the support you feel like you should get, don't let that stop you when God has given you the vision and the dream to go forth.
Go, Mimi.
Don't let that stop you. God will make room for your gift, and God will put people in your path and have you network with people that will take and nurture that gift, water that gift, and they got to give the increase. But you got to trust God with everything that's in you.
Yes.
He gave the gift to you to be creative, to help us get to the next level.
Right.
And we got to be good stewards over whatever it is that God gave us. So God gave you the gift to be creative. He wants you to be a good steward over that and not to abuse it. God gave me the gift of gab. Yeah, because that's what I call it, right? But God said, I want you to do it to elevate people, to build people, to lift people, to encourage people, to motivate people. Everything we do in life is to be centered around him, the core of him. I don't care about BU Podcast, right? He said, this is your platform. Somebody said, you need to go back in the pulpit. I said, that ain't what God gave me. This is my pulpit. Faith Beyond the Chair is my pulpit. Brain-Cocky is your pulpit. God said that's your platform, but not for you to get elevated, but for me to get elevated.
Yeah.
To feed them.
Yes.
To nurture them. To love them. To correct them. To motivate them. To push them. To support them. To let them know, hey, if God did it for me, he can do it for you. Hey, Miss Shalene, my sister said it best. The summit. Believe. Do you believe? A lot of us have lost our belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe? Didn't he do it for you back then? Yeah, when the market fell, God didn't fail, though, do it. Did he? No. He didn't fail.
No.
You travel, you go all over the place.
Yes.
And he gonna continue to bless your hands.
Yes.
And so that's why I asked, bro, where do you want Brain-Cocky to be? I know where God gonna be, but where do you want Brain-Cocky to be? Because he wants you to start speaking it, believing it, and then you can achieve it. He said, what? Wake up, get up, level up, power up, step up, speak up. That's where he is. And everybody that's on here, anybody that want a business, start a business, or you have a business, you want to go to that next level, you need to tap in. Tap into the children of God and see what happened.
So I guess, again, I'm going to try to answer that question again, Mimi. I want him to just have his way. Now, I know that's not answering the question, Chris, but I don't want to limit him. I'm telling you, I'm going to be right here, and I'm going to stay where I'm at, and I'm going to continue to build and edify more Mimis, more Christies, more Jadas. I'm going to continue to preach this gospel, the good news that Brand Cocky is here to help you get your personal brand out. Why? Because someone is needing you. They are waiting for you to deliver them. How am I going to deliver them, Chris? I'm just little old so-and-so. Believe me, you've been through something that can help this person right here. Will you please just help them get around this situation, please? And I get frustrated because people get so prideful, and it's my story, and it's and I'm ashamed, and I'm saying, you working for the enemy. You don't even know it. You don't even see it.
Because they don't want to talk.
We got to help people.
We got to.
Now, here's the deal. How's that going to help my business, Chris? How's that going to help what I do, how I make a living? How that going to put food on my table? Listen, this was told to me a long time ago in real estate. And he said, God said this, Chris, if you lift me up in your business,
come on,
I will draw all men unto me.
Facts. Let's go even further than that, Chris. What he said, seek me first, right? Yeah. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, not religion, but righteousness. And all these other things will be added. Just put them first. Put them first. That's what we're doing right now. Yeah. With Brand Cocky. We are putting God first. Our prayer call. We are putting God first. Am I my sister or brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Absolutely. We are a support system. Yes, we are. It's faith-based.
Yes.
It's faith-based.
Yes.
So it's not money-based.
No.
It's faith-based.
No.
It's faith-based.
Where your heart is, there will you also find your treasure.
That's it.
So you guys got to put your treasure where moth and rust can't get to. If you got that kind of treasure, that's gonna blow away. What you need to do is find something a little higher, a little deeper than just money.
That's it.
And this is what's kind of helped me out to stop being a money chaser or grabber.
Come
on. Because it's got to be a bad feeling to be hanging out with someone for 3 years and then see them be turned over to the authorities and knowing he's innocent and knowing that he didn't do nothing wrong. And for you to be sitting there with the 30 coins of silver.
Jesus.
And you saying, I don't want this now. Can we reverse this deal? Because this ain't it's hitting different. And they say, that deal is done. You do what you want to do with that money. I mean, that's your deal. We covered our end. You did what you did. And Judas went out and hung himself.
Come on.
He had the same opportunity Peter had when he denied Christ. Same folks.
Yep.
Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. No, I ain't. Not me. Not your boy. Not me and you. You know how we roll, Jesus. You're going to do it 3 times, but I already prayed for you.
Come on.
That's when you would have did it. And so Peter could have said, I want to go hang myself right next to Judas. But no. It's a heart thing.
That's it.
It's a heart thing. Chris, bring this back around to personal branding. Thank you for getting us on track. You gotta want to do something bigger than just make a check.
Come on.
You gotta be able to be in a situation where you want to see souls saved.
Yeah.
You want to see lives changed. And this is your uniqueness.
Yeah.
This was make your cleaning business far greater and far bigger than any other cleaning business.
Come on.
Because of the favor of God on your business. Because
That's it.
of those 5 smooth stones and that little rag you call a slingshot. How is this going to take this big old giant who been talking crazy for about 30 days straight and everybody's scared? But because of your time and your heart, because you love him that much.
That's it.
Because you got him in your business like that. This is why you're doing far exceedingly more abundant than any other business. Other businesses are looking at you and saying, what is he doing over there? How is he making these kind of numbers? How is he getting this? He ain't even doing the same marketing plan we doing.
They say the song, The Anointing. That's what it is. It's the blessing and the favor of God. And people don't even understand that. People say, what sets you aside and set you apart? We are the salt of the earth. We are the flavor. We should be the trendsetters and not following the trend. And that's where it's like, God gave me a message about a year or two ago. He said, bring me back. Bring me back.
Yes, he did. And I was with you on that one.
He said, bring me back. And that's what he's giving us right now. He just gave me a message. I got to speak. He said, order in the court. Order in the court. God said, I need you to bring everything back in order in its rightful place. And when you bring everything in its rightful place, then that branding, that business, that home, those finances, that debt, that marriage, those children, you, me, everything will begin to fall in its place. Now, not saying you won't have no trials and tribulations now. Wait a minute. But it's saying you will be able to handle it.
Right.
Because you're lining up, realigning yourself back up with what you're supposed to be doing. And it opens up the doors for your brand to flourish and blossom. When other people don't even understand, they ain't even got that many clients. But that little bit, he doing what, Chris? He's stretching it. He's stretching it. You look at your bills and look at that money, you be like, well, how in the world?
Little becomes much.
Come on.
You put it in the master's hand. Now, I ain't just saying that to say that. I'm saying that because that's what it is. Little becomes much. Hey, it's some of y'all that's doing less clients and making more money. Whereas when you was doing them less clients back then, that you wasn't able to, you still had to stay about 4, 5, 6 more hours. But now you going in 3, 4 days. You ain't going in 5, 6 days like you used to. And God is still sustaining you. He's done it before. How did he do it with the children of Israel? How did he keep their Nikes clean for 40 years? How did he do it? The same way he made water come out of a rock. Now that don't make no sense. Ain't no water supposed to come out of rocks.
Let me say this, Chris, because we don't reach that hour. It went so fast.
I know you hear the
music. We got to do a part 2, Chris.
You hear the music, G.
We got to do a part 2. But I wanna say this. It has truly been a blessing for you to be on here. What would you want to say to somebody before we actually close it out that will stick with them on this evening?
Hey, listen, Juneteenth. Be true to you. Be you, just like I'm on this podcast. Be you. Now you may say, Chris, I don't know who I am. But there is someone that does know, and he created you and he knows you. And he's waiting on you to come to him. And if you need to right now, just ask the Father, Father, I need to know who I am through you.
Come on.
And I think that's what I want you to take away from tonight. that if you're misstepping or if things are just not connecting, it's just hard, Chris. Come back to the Father. We just had Father's Day on yesterday.
Yes.
He's still waiting on you. You can still come to him. And if he leads you to me, or if he leads you to Mimi, guess what? He's going to give you some signs that let you know you on the right track.
Right.
And deliverance is even nigh you. It's in your mouth right now. It's in you. Your deliverance is in you. You ain't got to go looking out for somebody. Ain't nobody got to come to your house and touch you. It's in your mouth. Confess it. Believe it. It's done. That's what I want to say.
Well, I personally, again, want to say, Chris, you are awesome. To the Brancocchi family, I appreciate you. I thank you. To God be the glory for everything that we do. We are not perfect people, but we are obedient and willing people. And for God using us as in this season, in this time, is truly a blessing. So we want to say, God, we thank you. For every person that's on this live and every person that watches it on a replay, God, we ask that you allow them to win and see you in everything that we do and not in us. If you are looking for a branding coach and you want to take your business to the next level and you want a faith-based business to watch over you, protect you, cover you, and lead you and help you, motivate you, empower you, then I would suggest you reach out to Chris Bond on Facebook, and you can go to Brancocchi.com and he will answer your call. He's a busy man. Sometimes things slip through his fingers, but don't charge it. Don't charge it to his head. Charge it to his heart. But I just want to again say thank you so much for tuning in to BU Podcast. We appreciate you. We love you. And we tell you thank you and blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.